I got this curriculum offline, so this project is really cute and a little goofy too, which means it's right up my alley. So what we are going to do for the next couple of modules is create a maze, just a maze game. But the character that stars in the maze game is a toaster, and the goal is to gather toast within the maze. So you can go ahead and pick a name based off of that. So I'm going to call mine Toast Maze, and I'm going to leave it. This is 16:9 is the aspect ratio, basically how wide and how tall your game screen is. I'm just going to leave it there. They have a couple of other options here. You can experiment if you're curious. We haven't done that before, so I think that might be something that you might want to do in your own time. All right. So the first thing we are going to do in the Google Classroom for this module, there should be a lot of downloads. There are going to be the pictures of the toast that you pick up. And then also, because we're doing an animation, the toaster character has different animations, I think 25 in total. And so you need to have downloaded those before you can do this module. So if you haven't done that yet, go ahead and pause this video and make sure you get those downloaded. So I've already downloaded these. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to add our toast character. So I'm going to double click the white section like we always do, and I'm going to scroll down to Sprite. And I'm going to pick roughly an area within this dotted lines to put my sprite. So I'm going to put my sprite here. And like always, we get this sprite editor. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the file. So mine is in this folder walking selected. So these are all 25, maybe 26 images of the toaster. So I'm going to go to 0, the 000 file, and click that. Okay, and then we have our little toaster person here. So if you look, we have down here animation frames. And so think of this like a flip book when you flip through the pages and it makes the drawing look like it's moving. So we are going to upload all of our different pictures of this drawing. You can definitely do this yourself if you have a lot of time, but it's really helpful to be able to upload pre-made animations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the animation frame and I'm going to right click. I'm going to click Import Frames from Files. So if you recall, I already downloaded 000. So I'm going to highlight 001, and then I'm going to highlight all of, I highlighted 001. I'm going to hold down the Shift key, and then I'm just going to scroll all the way up so I can select all of these at once instead of having to download those one at a time, or upload those one at a time. And I'm going to click open. And so now if you look, all my animations are down here, and I can slowly but surely walk through my animation. So what I'm going to do is highlight in this upper right hand corner animations, and now I'm going to have these different properties. I have a speed and a loop. So loop means when I get to the end all the way, So when I get to the end of these animations, that means it's going to start back over at the first one here. And I definitely want my animation to do that. So I'll make sure animation 1 is highlighted and select loop. And then here's my speed is 5. So it's really 5 what? They don't have units. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click animation and select preview. This is just like we do with the layout. It'll let me see my preview. So this is my walking toaster, and he's moving a little bit slow, so I'm going to put some pep in the toaster step by increasing the speed from 5 to 15. Okay, so now I'm going to preview it again. Okay, that's more reasonable. He's still kind of chill, but moving a little bit faster than he was before. So that's our animation, pretty easy. So I'm going to X out of that, and I'm going to X out of this, and it is going to put our toaster roughly where I clicked earlier. So it's really hard for me to see the space that I'm working with. So I'm going to right click the white space, click view, and I'm going to zoom out. And then I'm going to center this. So this dotted lines, that's the size of my screen, or that's the size of my game. So I'm going to try to keep things within these dotted lines. So right now my toaster person, oops, I forgot something. So I'm actually going to double click. Oops. I'm going to double click again because I forgot one thing. I want to crop this because we are going to be interacting with different items in the maze. And right now, even though the image is here, my sprite actually ends out here. So I'm going to crop it a little bit smaller just so that the boundaries of my sprite are smaller and closer to my actual image. So that way when I go to grab the toast doesn't disappear when it's way out in front of my character. Rather, it's going to wait till I get up on the character before it disappears. So I made the frame smaller, but I want to click this down arrow and then click apply to animation. So now all of those animation frames have been cropped. So now I can X out of this and it's going to take me here. So I do need to resize my character a little bit, and I'm going to move my character to roughly here. And then I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more, not too much. And I use these bars at the bottom to kind of scroll. It's still a little small. I'm actually going to resize this so I have more room. Okay, so now, oops. Now I can see more of my game playing field. All right, so I have my toaster here. So now I'm going to make a tile map. I don't remember if I mentioned it in this coding club. I know we talked a little bit about it in MakeCode, but tile map is just the background that you interact with. So when you are playing, I'm thinking about side scroller old school games. So Super Mario Brothers, that's the one I always go to. When you have like a pipe, if you run into a pipe, Mario stops moving. So we are going to create like barriers within the background. So this is a maze. So basically what we are going to do is draw a maze right on top of this. So I'm going to right click again, oops, or double click. And this time I'm going to scroll down to General, Tile Map. And so this is just a background made out of tiles. So we insert that. I get the little crosshatch thing. It wants to know where my tile map is going to go, and I'm going to put it here. So this is the default. So this looks like it's a background already completed, but actually this is just the components of a background. So what I can do is when I click X out of here, all right, I have my tile map and I have my sprite. If I go to the layers layout and click tile map, if I go to my layers and click this tile map tab, I now can select which one of these tiles I want to make my tile map out of. So I'm just going to be really boring right now and just click that plain green square, and then I'm going to click this pencil. And so now I can draw my map. If I wanted to get fancy, I could change it. So I just select the fence icon so I can make like this little fence here. And I'm going to spend a couple of minutes. I'm going to edit this out the video so you don't have to watch me, but I'm going to take a couple of minutes to draw my maze. Okay, nothing super complicated. The toaster isn't going to get lost in here. But I did want to create an exit over here, which I forgot. So I'm just going to click this eraser, and I'm going to erase a couple of tiles on the right-hand side. So there's an exit. I don't know if you've experimented with some of the tools here, but let's see. Maybe I can make the rest of this like a light blue. So I'm going to use the fill. Well, that filled more than I wanted. So a couple of these I can fill if I want to. I can make these, I don't know, I like the bushes. So I'm going to fill this with the bushes. That seems kind of cool. All right. So now I have my sprite, and I am going to introduce another sprite later. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to rename this sprite. Again, I didn't come up with this curriculum, but I love the name that they came up with for this character, which is Bernie Crumbs. Sorry, I'm so corny, but so it's this curriculum, so it works well. All right, so I now have Bernie Crumbs, and I now have this tile map. And what I am going to do is, all right, so I now have Bernie Crumbs and I now have this tile map.